All right. It's that time. It's time for Beyond Sight and Sound. Let's do this. Are you looking for a high-quality beach and sand scoop? Are you trying to take your hunting to the extreme? How about an American-based company that stands behind their product and everything they sell? Then check out our friends over at XTREME Scoops. John has been making scoops for some time now and makes a quality beach and sand scoop to take your hunting to the next level. XTREME Scoops recently released their new sand shredder that works great in the water and on the beach. And if you're a new Equinox user, you may want to check out his Surfmaster X3 that can trap those small targets you new Equinox users are finding out there. XTREME Scoop's company approach is let's do it right. So do it right, buy it once, and go to the extreme. XTREMEScoops.com. That's XTREME Scoops.com.
Hey boys and girls, we are going to talk about S&W shooters and prospectors. What is S&W shooters and prospectors?
We at S&W Shooters and Prospectors help people find treasure.
Did you say treasure?
Yes, treasure. Just listen to this amazing review from our happy customer, Jackie Sparrow.
Chuck was shipshape and a pleasure to deal with. I was able to buy everything that I needed at prices that were shillings less than others. I found my 9 pieces of it in no time. Savvy?
I know you're asking yourself, why should I shop at S&W Shooter and Prospectors?
Chuck Smalley has over 45 years of metal detecting experience. He works with each customer one-on-one to customize their setup to match their skill level.
So if you always dreamt of being a pirate, contact Chuck at S&W Shooters and Prospectors and he'll take a great deal for you.
iPads and rum not included.
Caution. Please do not operate motor vehicles or power equipment while under the influence of this show. Listening to this show could cause side effects such as bouts of laughter, violent binges of cabin fever, and even dreams of silver and gold. Please be advised. Now that the fine print is out of the way, on with the show. All right, we're back. We're live once again. You are listening to Beyond Sight and Sound, metal detecting and treasure hunting radio for all the really cool digging people out there. And I see that we've got, we've already went south. I see we've got Detect America in the house. Frank's in. We've got the Bills, Bortners, Mikes, Celeste, Jason, Bob, Travis, Lauren. A lot of people dropping in. Good to see, definitely good to see. Yes, the TV stars in the house. A couple of IMDb pages are around. So we've got the links in the description. Our friends at Shooters and Prospectors, A.I.P, Extreme Scoops, DETECTEES, TheRingFinders, Crazy Spider Adventures, Ohio Metal Detecting Beyond Sight and Sound, the Relic Hunters, I&I Group, Metal Detecting Central Illinois, Detect America, and then also we've got the Note to Macro website, Terry Shannon's website, Midwest Refineries, and we've also got Treasures in America, Uncharted Expedition website, and their IMDb page. Everybody's getting IMDb pages now. Go figure. Obviously, you can see you've seen the promo for the show. You've seen the thumbnail for the show. We've got a cover photo up of Uncharted Expedition, Tim and the gang on the photo, and we've actually got Tim and the gang on with us tonight. So there's, four lines tied up right now, but we've still got room if anybody wants to call in with questions. So that's the important part. Either way, let's get things rolling and get Tim and everybody in here. How's it going tonight, guys?
Doing good.
Going well.
Doing good.
Yeah. Wow. I'm amazed. Everybody was able to do that and nobody stepped on anybody.
The night's not over yet.
Right. I was going to say that's probably a feat in its own. But very, very cool. It's been a while since we've had all of you on, and it's not very often that we do nights with simultaneous guests, but it does come up from time to time. So we've got a number of you on tonight from the season. And who knows, maybe later Mark may even be calling in.
He might be listening right now, too, thinking, oh, man, I'm missing it.
It's possible. You never know with him. I mean, last I knew, he was driving. So we'll see what happens. Maybe he'll make it in, or maybe he'll just listen. I have not seen him in the chat yet, which is a good possibility that I won't if he is driving. Usually it's not... they kind of frown upon texting and driving.
I wouldn't recommend it. It's not a good idea.
Yeah, usually it doesn't work out all that well for some people, and when it goes bad, it goes really bad really quick.
Well, in that case, Sean, you want to give him a brief description of what not to do? Sean has one for you.
Yeah, don't text and drive. I found out the hard way. I am very very fortunate to be alive, let alone standing and fully functional. So I'm blessed.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. His truck, it looked like a crushed tin can. There wasn't anything left of it.
Oh my. Well.
Yeah, I think it was 2013. I was checking emails on my phone and was coming back from work. I work in Mesquite, Nevada. That's why I've got the 702 area code on my phone. And I wasn't paying attention, and I looked up and was right in the back of the semi. I hit him. He had a fully loaded truck, and I hit him so hard that he bumped into the dashboard. And he was going maybe 40 miles an hour. I was going 85. And I could tell you from firsthand experience that crashes in person do not sound like crashes in the movies.
Oh man, that just sounds horrible. Just thinking about it.
Yeah, it's everything blacked out to the sound of my face, every bone in my face breaking, and it sounded like cabbage. But yeah, so I'm kind of bringing the mood down a little bit with this, Tim.
Hands-free can be a wonderful thing.
Well, positive, Celine. Yeah, go ahead, Sean.
Oh, I was just going to say, for the positive side of it was it definitely motivated me to want to go out and find different adventures and count my blessings for sure, because you never know. You never know when that drive home is going to be your last drive home, and so I'm very blessed and fortunate to be walking, let alone going out and hanging out with my buddies. And I think at the time I was in the best shape of my life. If I was to get in that accident now, maybe not so much.
We all get a little older, and it's not as easy to bounce back sometimes.
No, for sure. Yep.
Well,
yeah, we're
hopefully that's on his list of things not to do again.
Yeah, that is for sure at the top of the list.
Oh, at least you can look back on it now, though, and laugh, hopefully. Lesson learned.
For sure.
Wow. But that's, sometimes that's how we learn, is if we make a mistake, what do? Do we continue to make the same mistake, or learn from it and change the way we do things?
Well, and it sets an example for other people. I know I'm the youngest brother out of my family. And as I was growing up, all my older brothers were making dumb mistakes. And I remember as a little kid going, well, I won't do that one.
Right. So, yeah. Learn from the experience of others.
I'll make my own dumb mistakes.
There's always got to be one that has to learn their way. So, yep. You guys have you've been busy filming and promoting and all of that, and we heard I want to say Wednesday, I believe, Mark called in and mentioned that you're going to film 2 more episodes for the season, I guess, and you're already planning on a season 2. But what inspired everybody to do this?
That's a good question. Who wants to go with that one? Because I know all of us have been involved with that one. Even Chooch has his own side on that. But you want to take that one, Tom?
Well, I mean, for me, I've been going out and doing this kind of stuff for a long time and taking pictures and little videos and stuff. And one of the big things about doing this type of thing now is just the technology of being able to do it. Cameras have gotten lighter, except for the ones Cheech carries. And, it's just, we've been recording and doing things, but it's just gotten a lot easier with technology lately to be able to do what we want to do.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, Sean and Todd, Chooch has heard the stories about, we've been actually asked to do a lot of things throughout the years, probably ever since 2014. I remember the vice president of the Travel Channel. I was out with him doing some filming with Chris Jericho. Sorry, this was a different show. Sorry, I got those shows mixed up. I was doing a different show on my own before Treasures America and Uncharted Expedition got together. And I remember he looked at me and he said, this treasure hunting stuff, it's pretty fascinating, pretty interesting. And he goes, if I was you, you're good in front of the camera. You have a lot of information. I can see this going somewhere. And it wasn't too long after that, a year or two later, a lot of different treasure hunting shows came on. So we've actually been a part of a lot. Most of it has been behind the scenes. They reach out, a lot of these producers and networks reach out to us. We've had our hands in the cookie jar for several years, but a lot of times we were under contract with one network or a different producer, and things just didn't work out. But we were still gaining that knowledge, how to film and, how to act in front of the camera, I guess you can say. And so at that point, me and Sean, we used to work together. And at work, we were always fooling around. We were just having a good time. And for years, we kept saying, man, we need to just film this kind of stuff. And so it just dawned on us, like, why don't we go do something on our own? Let's create it ourselves. And that way we can control it. We can control the narrative. No putting in the Hollywood effects and no planting anything. We want to control it.
Good point. And do either of the other two have anything to put into that? Because I know
we lose a couple.
I know we did lose one there for a minute, but he's back.
Yeah, I don't know, for whatever reason my phone booted me off the call. But I'm back. Yeah, we wanted to do our own thing. We wanted to do it our way. It's fun working with other networks and whatnot for sure, but we wanted to make sure that we got our stories, that we told our stories our way, and we wanted it to be authentic, and and we wanted to bring everybody along for the ride. So it's been fun doing it our way, and it makes it a little tricky. For Chooch, because like Todd said, he's got this massive camera that he's carrying around, and he's got to try to get ahead of us to try to wrinkle us in and catch our reactions, without it looking like it's staged, if that makes sense.
Right.
So he's definitely one of the hardest working guys on the crew, for sure.
So you guys have got him running all around then.
Yeah, we try to run him as ragged as possible.
Where is Chooch? Are you going to pipe in Chooch? Or did I forget to leave him in the basement again like the other night?
Yeah, I escaped the basement, so I'm out. I'm good now.
Who let you out, Chooch?
That's me and my better half.
Yeah, Tim locks Chooch in his basement until he's done, working on film. He's not allowed to. He's not allowed any food. He's not allowed any water. He's just has to work on filming.
Well, for these episodes, that seems like that's a full-time job in its own.
Right?
It's definitely a lot of work.
So,
tell them what it's like. Give them an inside of, all your camera gear, and just kind of give everybody an idea of what's going on here. Because there's a lot of behind the scenes that a lot of the audience can't see.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I have several bags and nice big camera and a couple GoPros, and yeah, I have to, if we get a good shot, or it looks like it's going to be a good shot, I have to get up the hill or to the caves or wherever before they do to make it, look like it's not staged, and most of them definitely aren't. And like, if we're out in the buggies, I have to be out of the buggy and video on them before they get all excited and get their metal detectors and run away without me.
And that's actually the hardest thing. So I have been there while they filmed other reality TV shows, right? And I've seen how all these scenes are planned. A lot of it's unscripted. It's a script unscript type platform. So you kind of know what's coming up, and the camera guys are already set up, and you walk into the frame usually, right? With Chooch and having real adventurers on this team, and we're not just barely off to the side of the highway and trying to make it look like that we're in the big wilderness. We really are. So try going out with a team like this, You got Chooch trying to stay in front of us. He's trying to keep eye. You got Sean going, hey, yeah, let's go up that canyon. You got Todd hanging out the buggy trying to get a sample of the see if there's any gold or anything in the soil. And I'm over there, dude. Chooch has to ring us in all the time, or there would be nothing but just Chooch running around on frame.
Right. Oh boy, we've got a guy that you guys probably have to rein in all the time. We've got Kirby Dyson on with us.
Oh, cool.
Hey, Josh.
How's it going, Mark?
Good. Who do you have on tonight?
Oh, we've got Tim and Todd and Sean and Chooch.
Is that the guys from Uncharted Expedition?
That's what they say.
Well, whatever they tell you, don't believe it. Don't believe whatever they tell you, especially if it's about me.
We haven't got to that part.
Yeah,
yet.
we hadn't got to that part yet. We figured you weren't calling in yet, so we figured we had a good 20 minutes to talk smack about you. But axe that idea.
Well, I can hang up and recall. I can hang up and call back in.
No, that's all right. We don't want you trying to text and drive or anything. We heard how that went for Sean.
All right, I'll just listen then.
Hey, Mark, what have you been doing this weekend?
Hey, Tim. Hey, guys. We were, Jimmy Crossbones and I drove up to South Carolina for the American Digger Magazine military show. And great show. Met a lot of wonderful people. And, had a great time. So, I'm driving back home now, so I thought I'd call in for a few minutes and see how it's going.
Well, thanks, Mark.
So, how did you get wrapped up with this crew, Mark?
We actually just found him. So we offered him free food, and that's pretty much all it took.
There you go. That's it.
Well, some people just have all the luck.
I won't make it a long story. Basically, I was working for a company based out in St. George, Utah, southern Utah. And, just coincidentally, I saw something online about this place called Treasures in America, and it sounded really interesting. So I reached out to Todd. Todd and I went to dinner and just hit it off. And first thing I noticed is he was wearing a Mel Fisher Tochi coin. I said, all right, this guy knows what he's doing. We talked a lot, and I could really tell that Todd was a real deal treasure hunter. And then Todd introduced me to Tim, and we went to dinner one night, and Tim and his wife, and kind of hit it off there. And then, not too long after that, the whole team invited me to go with them to see some interesting stuff. And I just fell in love with it from that point on. And then at some point, they invited me to be a part of the team, which I was just absolutely delighted to do. So that's really what it was all about. I mean, I'm not working for that company anymore, but I'm still going out to southern Utah for the adventure. But that's how I got connected with it.
Nice.
Yeah, Mark's a great guy. It was a no-brainer. And just for the record, Todd is a great detectorist, but Todd kind of plays a couple different roles. He has been around doing this longer than I have. So, my thing has always been structures and symbols and, the Spanish history. Todd helps me out a lot with that. Plus, Todd is also doing the prospecting and stuff. It's kind of hard for him to do all the above. So it was a no-brainer. Mark is a great guy. A lot of people like him. I know when I first met Mark, there was just something about him, if you don't like Mark within the first 10 minutes, there's something wrong with you, I think, because he's just a great guy, and he got along with the team really good. So
I'll pay you later, Tim.
Checks in the mail.
Yeah.
Well, so what prompted, because like I said, I think it was Wednesday, Mark had mentioned that you guys were going to be filming 2 more episodes for this season. What prompted that decision?
From the beginning, we planned on doing anywhere between 6 to 9. It all depends on the budget. It all depends on a lot of different things. But at this case, we do have more episodes coming. The next episode, in fact, is going to be coming on at the end of this month. We're going to have Gypsy Jules with us from Zero Discrimination. Great person. If you don't know her, I don't know very many people that don't know her in the treasure hunting community. And then anyway, so, we know where we were with time. And at this point, 2 more episodes for season 1. I think we'll just finish it off just right, getting people ready to see what we're going to do for next season.
Wow. Nice. Well, so far, the bits and pieces I've been able to catch, it looks like things have been very well done.
Thank you. It's a lot of work for everybody. Everybody works on this team.
Well, you kind of have to pull it all off. I mean, there is a lot that, like you said earlier, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. Like when people see an episode, a lot of people don't necessarily stop and take the time to think how much time is involved in that. There's, I'm sure, a lot of footage that kind of hits the cutting room floor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, these guys know for sure. These guys, we make a plan, we go out, we leave in the evening. If we have an hour to drive, it's an hour. We have 5 hours, it's 5 hours. We wake up early in the morning, we film all day. We come back, beat up, tired, hungry. We wake up and we do it again. And when we put up these episodes, it's crazy to me to think about what we did for those couple days and then see that it's only, 35 to 40 minutes long.
Right. And out of those 35 to 40 minutes, how many hours of filming went in to get that?
Shoot, you tell them.
At least 12. Sometimes it feels like you're out there for 14, but yeah, you're a good 9, 10, sometimes 12-hour days.
And then a lot more past that with the editing, putting it all together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, how long?
Yeah.
Jada, Tim's daughter, does the editing, so it really is kind of a family, endeavor that we got going on. And we've been with these guys so long that they feel like family. How long do you think that it takes Jada just in the editing room, Tim?
Oh, gosh. That's, I do have to say, this team is getting better per episode because as we go, it's getting a little bit better. Jada also is getting a little bit quicker at doing it, but there is a lot that goes into it. Whenever we come back, I take those SD cards that Chooch gives me, and I probably spend a good 8 to 10 hours organizing the files for Jada, according to, what we did first, day 1, day 2, and then I hand it over to her, and she has a good month, I would say, per episode. 3. I think she's starting to cut it down to about 2 weeks, but it was a good 4 weeks, I would say, per episode.
Wow. That's a lot of time invested.
Yeah. And Chooch isn't messing around. I mean, when I start, I'm the first one to see everything uncut. And when I have 6 different SD cards in my hand and I start plugging them into the computer and it takes 4 hours for one SD card to go on my hard drive just so I can organize the files, I didn't even count that in. And so Chooch is always sitting there. It doesn't matter if it's the GoPros on the vehicles or on the dashboard. If it's one of us, all of us kind of take turns with holding the camera. Chooch does all the A-roll, but a lot of us will act as a B-roll videographer as well. But, if we're out for, let's say, almost 2.5 days, 3 days. Those cameras have been running 60 to 70% of that time.
Wow. That's a lot of batteries to carry out into the field.
Camera.
Yeah, sorry, what did you say, Todd?
Oh, there's always a camera going at some point.
Yeah.
If it's just getting B-roll footage or, reactions while we're in the vehicles or talking or whatever, we're always got a camera going.
Well, then, if he's always trying to get the right shots and get into the caves before you guys and all of that, you guys ever have anything come up where you're like, I don't know if there's a wild animal in there or not. Let's send him in first and see what happens.
We actually have a great story about that. So this was, the only one I think that works harder or packs a bigger bag is Todd. And one of the trips, Todd had anything that you need, he's got it in the backpack. So we like to give him a hard time and talk smack, but he does come in handy with all of his gear and whatnot. But so there was this one trip where what do you think, Todd? We were like maybe 10, 11,000 feet in elevation.
Yeah, the top of that's 11,000, so we're about 10.
So, and we were going after this mine, and it, shame on us. We should have drove up from the bottom, but we ended up covering 2,000 feet in vertical ascension. We went down 1,000 feet, then we came back up 1,000 feet. That trip definitely kicked our butt. But so Todd was kind of lagging behind a little bit because he's got this huge, massive backpack, and Tim and Antonio and I went to go check out this cave, and Antonio and I were sitting on the other end of. So if you could picture this mine, it looks like a small natural cave on the slope of this little creek bank. So Antonio and I were on the other side of the creek, just kind of sitting back, drinking some water, waiting for some of the other guys to catch up. Tim goes up to the cave with a flashlight, and he pulled out his sidearm, and immediately he jumps back and tumbles down the hillside and almost lands back in the creek. We were like, "Whoa, what the heck? What happened, man?" And apparently he came face to face with a cougar, and we can only assume that the cougar had some babies in there, because otherwise we were making so much noise we should have scared it off. But
I think we actually. Yeah, sorry, Sean.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think you're right. I think it was a very deep canyon. A very deep canyon. So we're in this canyon, and if you look to the north, south, east, and west, there's big peaks up above us. And I think we did. I think as we came in, it was just, first like Antonio shows up, or maybe it was Sean first, and then the next person. So there's just three of us, and we were pretty winded, so we were quiet. And I think we kind of snuck up on it. And I always go to check the mines like that. I always grab my mag light, flashlight, and I always pull out my gun. You never know. I've been through so many mines I can't even count anymore, but you always want to check it just in case. And even with that big D, or what was it, a 4D mag light, flashlight, what freaked me out the most is I'm flashing it in this mine. I'm thinking to myself, oh man, these guys are going to love this. This looks like an old Spanish mine. Oh man, I'm looking, and I look up on the ceiling, and I look down, and I go, ooh, one of the parts of the ceiling came down, and I was like, oh, this might be a little dangerous. I don't know. And then I pointed the flashlight about 20 feet, maybe 10, 20 feet in front of me, and that's where that cat was. And this thing by that time was panicking. I was already standing there at the opening for a good, I don't know, let's say a minute or so. I was surprised it didn't come out and latch on to me or something, so yeah, it scared me.
So nobody went, Mark, that cave's for you.
Yeah, we're saving that one for Mark.
Yeah, I'm behind him all the way, probably 100 yards behind him.
Yep.
We've had that metal detector in his hand. Since we're bringing that up, I just got to say, Garrett Metal Detectors, I want to bring that up real quick. They are our sponsors. Thank you for everything they've done. If you know who they are, tell them thanks, tell them hi, let them know that you heard about them from Uncharted Expedition. But yeah, Mark always has a Garrett Metal Detector in his hand, so that's why he's actually in pretty good shape.
Oh yeah.
It's not the metal detector, it's the shovel I got that I'm using as a protection.
There you go.
Well, the shovel keeps you in pretty good shape too.
Yeah, but having those edges on that shovel, I mean, it's a nice tool to have for more than one reason.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can remember some of the places I'd hunt. People would look at me and go, "Aren't you worried about someone sneaking up on you?" And it's like, do you see what I carry? I'm not worried. You would think they would be more concerned about me than I am about them.
Yeah, some of those shovels are scary looking.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've got a hold of one that everybody kind of looks at it and they're like, "What is that? Is that like your zombie apocalypse tool or something?"
It's my saw.
It's needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it'll fit the bill for whatever I need.
Yeah, but going back to what Tim was saying about Garrett, they've been totally supportive of us. We've had others like Maglite and Yeti coolers. But Garrett was very gracious, gave us all the equipment. They wanted to support us by sending KG and Ringy out, Gypsy out. And so it's been a real good partnership with Garrett. We really enjoy working with them, and they've taken really good care of us.
Well, and they are a good company.
Community.
Right.
Yes. They Absolutely. Are. It's proven to me business, it doesn't matter what aspect comes from Garrett, they have proven 100% in 2022 that they are a good company and they do care about the treasure hunting community. 100%.
Well, that's certainly one you guys want to stick with.
Yep. Exactly right.
And it's a competitive market now, with all the other manufacturers coming out with stuff. But I had an opportunity to, we haven't used it on the show yet, but I had an opportunity twice now to use the Axiom PI machine, and once up in Alaska. And I got to tell you, that's a great machine. So kudos to them. I can't wait to get it on Uncharted Expedition and use it out in Utah. But they've been testing it, in Australia, in the goldfields there, in California, and even in Virginia. But it's incredibly light. It's got a long battery life. It does actually discriminate iron, which is pretty cool. So they are coming out with some really good machines. So I'm looking forward to using that Axiom sometime on our show.
We might have to pick. Oh, there you go. We might, now that you say that, Mark, because I really want to get that thing in our hands. I really do. I want to see it. I want to test it. Maybe the next episode we all go out on, we should find, a place that has a lot of gold. Todd, wink, wink, you're going to have to get on that one. We'll find a place where there's a lot of gold, and that'd be a great, let's put it to the test. Let's see what it can do.
Yeah, I mean, so far, everything I've seen of it, it's an impressive machine.
Yeah, what did you think about it, Mark, when you were using it out there? What did you say? You were using it in Alaska, weren't you?
Yeah, it's a good machine. Well, it's funny. Well, funny but not funny, but I broke two of them. Not intentionally. We actually took them on. We actually took them on the beach. We were the first ones to do it. And I said we, Gary Penton and I. They wanted us to test them on the beach, and we're testing them. So you want to find out where the things need to be improved. And one of the areas was, it needed a gasket to protect the ribbon cable from the battery down into the head unit. So when I say I broke it, I mean we flooded it, and it wasn't intentional, but they learned that, hey, that's an area they need to improve. And then the other one was I had it on an ATV that went over about a 3-foot drop and slightly cracked it. But, they learned from that. Hey, here's, I know, right? But they learned that, hey, here. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mark. You go ahead. You got the floor.
No, I was just going to say they learned by the testing, but in terms of using them, they're phenomenal machines. Now, I found smaller pieces of gold, but KG actually found a beautiful nugget when we were in Alaska using one of the Axioms, and we all found gold. We had 4 of them up there. We all found gold with them. And like I said, KG found a really nice sized nugget up there with it. So, yeah, I mean, I loved using it. And, I'd like to actually get it out on a relic field somewhere. And it's designed as a gold machine, and I'm sure they'll design one for the water, the salt water. But, I'd love to use it again, like Todd said, out there in Utah and maybe in some of the gold area up there. But it's a great machine. I love using it.
Well, you said something, Mark, that definitely caught my attention because I haven't had it in my hands yet. That's been on you. You've had the privilege to do that. But you just said something that caught my attention. You were finding small pieces of gold, but KG found a good sized nugget. So you're talking about a gold metal detector that sounds like it can do both. Or you're finding small gold and you can find bigger gold.
Yeah, I think the most impressive part of it, though, is the iron discrimination. It genuinely discriminates iron, and they have a mode where you can switch it into, and it grunts when you put it in that mode over iron. And every time, I didn't believe it. I would dig it, and sure enough, it was an iron nail or a piece of iron or something like that. So it got to the point where when I put it in that mode and got that discrimination, I just didn't bother to dig it anymore.
Wow.
And
that's
KG
nice.
and Ringy found the same thing that we're like, man, this thing really does work. I mean, it's discrimination of the iron. There's something to it, and it works. So anyway, but we really did like it. And the other thing is they're incredibly light, and they've got the telescoping shaft, and they're easy to carry around and stuff like that. So it's a good machine to have in your arsenal.
Which is a big plus for as far out as you guys are going sometimes. The lighter the gear, because you guys are carrying quite a bit of gear between all of you.
That's right.
Is it collapsible enough to go in a backpack?
It is. In fact, when you buy it, you get a backpack. Garrett makes a custom backpack for it, so you can put your Axiom in there with everything else you need in the backpack and then carry it. But it collapses down, I think 22 inches is what it collapses down to. And you just put it in the backpack. And and that was one of the problems when I had it on the ATV. I didn't have the backpack. This was a test unit. But no, when you buy one today, you get a backpack with it.
So now you guys just got to figure out. Yeah, I was going to say, now you guys just got to figure out who's going to carry it, because Todd's backpack is full.
It's time to retire that one, Todd. Get you a new one.
Yeah, I got to cut it down. Not as young as I used to be.
Or either that, or we need to start bringing out horses and mules.
Right, there you go.
Yeah, when are you going to get me a horse so I don't have to climb 11,000 feet?
you just
to get me
ruined the
2
spoiler.
mules. I can't.
No, you know what? I've actually been considering that because, as it used to be for me, I must be getting a little bit older. I'm not trying to say I'm old, but I'm not young anymore. But I used to I remember going out hiking 10 miles a day. Now I walk 2 to 3. And I'm like, oh man, that was hard. And you get to the point where you really depend on your ATVs and UTVs, your Jeeps, all your vehicles. But there's still a lot of time. And I was telling my wife this the other day, there's still many times where I'm like, man, I just can't get the UTV past this area. It's still too gnarly of an area, And I'm like, I don't want to hike it. We need to get a horse. We got a few horses. Oh man, that would make it a lot better.
Well, we got Chooch. He's a horse.
Hey, just because I haul around the gear.
Gosh, Chooch, your gear bag is crazy. We were out all day filming, and we're climbing up this hill, and I see Chooch. He has it over his back with his arm up in the air. He's carrying it like that. And we all kind of took turns like, hey, Chooch, we're all tired. Let's take turns. Even carrying his bag with one guy on each side, that bag felt heavy at the end of the day.
Right, he's going, you guys all want a horse. I need 2. One for me and one for the gear I carry.
Right?
Be worth it.
Right?
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
I mean, the way it sounds, you probably got one bag just for batteries.
Yeah, we're actually out filming enough that there's been a time or two that we've overheated our GoPros because we're just constantly switching out batteries and running them.
Wow.
That's a good point, Chooch. I forgot about that happening. GoPro cameras have proven to be pretty good, but yeah, you're right. We're overworking. We're even overworking the GoPro camera that's supposed to handle that kind of stuff.
Good point. I mean, GoPro is known for, action cameras, rugged environments, things like that. And apparently you guys are even pushing that to the limit.
How many have you brought up to our attention now, Chooch? At least 2?
Yeah, well, I've overheated 2 of them now, and that's not even. I'm running my big camera as much or more than a GoPro, and my big camera hasn't overheated, but my GoPros have.
Interesting.
And it doesn't take long for them to get warm and overheated.
Yeah, that's true. Especially because you're out of the elements. That's the thing. I didn't even think about it until now, but if you think about it, look at the kind of elements that we're in, guys. We got these cameras that are supposed to handle this kind of stuff. Yeah. And we're out there going, oh man, the cameras can't keep up. Where are you guys taking us? What are we doing out there?
Yeah, see, that's a good point too. When you guys get a location that you plan on doing some filming at, how do you come up with who makes the choice of, hey, we're going to go clear back into this area and this is what we're going to do? Is that like a team decision?
Crickets. Go ahead, Todd.
Yeah, it kind of is. I mean, we come up with a story we want to chase, and come up with kind of an outline of what we want to show, what locations and what we want to say. And a lot of times, Tim will not tell us what we're going to see. If he knows the spot or if I know the spot, we'll not tell what we're doing so that the reaction is a little more genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think what I see just observing coming from Florida is Todd and Tim kind of started the process of like, hey, this is where we should go, and this is what the theme of this particular episode should be. But what I've also noticed is it is a very collaborative effort in that a lot of things you don't know until you get there. And what you do is you find out, well, hey, we just discovered this. Now I need to get this, or we need to do this, or you need to go here. And it was kind of neat when we brought KG and Ringy out because they had no clue what it was like being in southern Utah and what the terrain was going to be like, what we were going to see. We actually, made the decision to split up with KG and Ringy and I going one direction, and Sean and Todd, Tim, and Chooch and those guys all going in a different direction. And we got some really good film in both areas. But, there's a lot of, things that we saw that said, well, hey, let's do this over here, or let's add this to it. And we got so much footage out of that, Tim. Didn't we get 2 episodes out of KG and Ringy being there?
We did, yeah. It worked out perfect. That was one site. It was a big site. 12 square miles of finding Spanish carvings on a ponderosa pine tree on one edge, and then we found the smelter on the other edge. We were really spread out. But yeah, it was 2 episodes out of 1, and these are all really good points too. Everybody has to remember, we are really treasure hunting. We really want to find something, if nothing else, just because we're filming. But that's the way we are. We are not out there just kind of going after maybes or some urban legends. We do a lot of research. We put a lot of work into this. So when we go out, we have hopes of finding something that's very cool, very interesting. If it shines, then it's worth money, even better, So we let the clues take us. We go out to a certain area. If we start finding clues that are pointing us to a canyon, down a different road, maybe even on the other side of the mountain, that's where we go. So a lot of our filming, it's hard to show all that. And if we did, to be honest with you, a lot of people would probably be yawning. It would be hours and hours and hours per episode, right? So there's a lot of that stuff that people don't see, but we're definitely following the clues to try to find what it is that we're looking for.
So, 2 things then. When KG and Ringy came out to do these 2 episodes with you guys, what did you guys think about hunting with them and having to stop every 25 minutes for bird photos?
Well,
that was actually a lot of fun. We learned quite a bit from those guys. They're very entertaining. We've been out and about doing a lot of filming over the years, but just to see like the levels of energy that they bring, it was definitely a fun experience for sure. Those guys are a blast.
Yeah, I've told people countless times when they'll ask me, well, KG and Ringy, are they really like what you see on TV? And you couldn't find more genuine people. They're just the same, whether they're on camera or off. They always have that level of energy.
Yep, that is very true. Yep. Yeah, that's a good point. Having KG and Ringy with us really did. They taught us some things. We hope we taught them a thing or two. And it made it very, it made it a lot of fun. We already got Sean as the prankster on our team, let alone bringing in Mark, KG, and Ringy. A lot of us were outnumbered at that point.
Right, yeah. All bets are off at that point. You can't keep them contained. Especially if Mark's in there. He just kind of eggs them on.
I can tell you this.
Egging things on.
And I know their MO, so I know something's going to happen. But we made sure that Tim found a gold coin. It just happened to be one of their tokens. So anyway, we did find a gold coin.
And that is on film.
Go ahead, Tim.
Oh, I was going to say that is
Well,
on film, and that kind of surprised me too. I remember you guys were over there doing something. I'm like, these guys are professional detectorists, and you guys are all kind of looking at me like, "Hey, Tim, come look at this." I'm like, what is going on? So you guys got me on that one. You have to go see it.
But
I think on the way back they. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
No. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah. So Tim actually got home from that trip and was just wondering, geez, why the heck is my backpack so, why is my luggage so dang heavy? They had snuck a log, like they went out to the yard of the Airbnb that we were at, grabbed a log of firewood and stuffed it in Tim's backpack.
I could see him doing that, log or a few rocks or something like that.
Right.
And I had that
Tim says that I'm a prankster, but he's actually the best prankster I've ran into. I got like kind of a bit of a short attention span when it comes to pranks. I want that that instant gratification, I guess. But Tim can play the long con to where you will have no idea that you're getting hustled for the better part of a year.
Oh yeah. Yep. Patience is a virtue.
Sean he is definitely the prankster of the group, but he's right. If I see something that I can do, I don't know what it is about me, but I like to play that long con. Something it's to me, I think it's funny when you hear someone say for months and months at a time, "Who is doing that? I cannot believe that."
So he had this app. He had this app on his phone that would that had these automated phone calls, and the automated calls wouldn't trigger until you started talking to them. So you'd get these phone calls, and you're like, "Is this automated, or is this dude for real?" So I would get calls like, "Hey, you hit my car," and then it goes blank. And I'm like, "Man, I don't know what you're talking about." And he's like, and then once you start talking, they start talking back, and you can record the whole conversation. So I'm sitting there thinking, like, I can't tell if this is legit, or am I getting pranked? So the whole time I'm stressing, thinking that someone's like trying to scam me or hustle me out of my info. And then one time I got a call when I have my in-laws over for Thanksgiving, and the gentleman says, "Sir, I want to talk to you about your cable bill." I'm like, "Okay, what's going on?" And, well, there was quite a few adult videos that were on the bill this period, and I'm like, I'm looking at my in-laws like, I swear that's not legit, that's not real. They're kind of shaking their head like, "Yeah, sure, okay, whatever you say."
Right, unlikely story.
But you can record the whole conversation and then just play it back for your own amusement later on. So that went on for a year before he finally confessed.
I can't even remember what made me finally tell you, Sean. I swear we were going to lunch one day. You were driving, and I was just in the passenger seat staring out the window, and I can't remember if I just started chuckling or what it was. I couldn't hold it in anymore. And that right there was worth doing it for, waiting for all that time, because I remember when you found out. There's actually been a couple times you've done that to me. When you find out, you just crack me up for the whole night. I just can't stop laughing from your reaction.
So, yeah, there was get a couple drinks in Tim, and then eventually he spills the beans. But we were actually out. So Tim used to work for me. That's how, and Antonio still does work for me.
You're not going to tell this story, are you?
I'm definitely rolling you under the bus. We were out for one of Garrett's events, and it was in Texas, and oh man, it was beautiful. It makes me definitely regret where I'm living, because it's so lush and green, and I'm getting a little over the desert, but I'm getting sidetracked. So anyway, we were out for a big digging event. Mark was there, and we just ended up like kicking back, having a few drinks, and and then all of a sudden, Tim reveals that we used to have. So I build houses for a living, and Tim used to be my assistant, and we would show up to the job site, and there would be just random things here and there, and you're just scratching your head like, who did that? Or someone would throw like a concrete stake through a door, or someone physically put a temporary toilet. They put a temporary toilet inside one of the garages, standing vertically upright. And so we had a nickname for this guy, and we called him the Drywall Bandit. And it was one of those things that I would come to work, and you'd have these WTF moments like, what the crap? Who did that, and why did they do that? And then all of a sudden, we're having drinks in Texas after that dig event.
A couple years later, just so everybody knows.
Yeah, a couple years later, he spills the beans that he was the Drywall Bandit the whole time. My head just exploded. I was like, really? That was you?
Dude, Sean, now that you rolled me underneath the bus, remember, my wife was recording that moment when I revealed it to you.
I know, my head exploded.
Well, I'm going to weigh in here and just basically say, look, what you guys and everybody that's listening are realizing is this is a really a group that has a lot of fun. And, you heard earlier, there's a lot of work that goes into this, the research, the work, the physical effort. But, one of the things that KG and Ringy we really learned from them, it's okay to go out there and work hard and have fun at the same time. And,
absolutely.
I think this group really has learned more now, that's what people really would want to see. They want to see real stuff. They want to see you having a good time. And, if you find something, that's even better. But, in this, when they were out there, I was sharing this before where I had to, do the B-roll with the GoPro. And, KG made a major recovery and just made up this outrageous story. And I was laughing so hard that all I could do not to shake that camera while I was filming to get, because they just, KG and Ringy, they just naturally come out. And I think we learned a lot from them about, there's a real art to just sharing, the hard work, but at the same time having fun.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and there's a great chemistry between those two anyway.
Right.
Yeah. That's the way it is after you work with someone for a while, and especially, it's one thing to have to live with someone, or it's one thing to be related to someone. It's another thing for a group of people to decide, hey, let's go do this together. We got a common interest. We have a goal set, and you start spending, days after days, months, years together. You just become really good friends, and that's one thing I really believe in. And that's another great thing about, doing what we're doing. We have met so many people. We've had a lot of good feedback about Uncharted Expedition. Like what Mark said, we've been hearing feedback to, hey, the scene of Sean, shooting you and putting the safety on, that was funny. Thanks for showing that. All the way to, hey, it was informational. I learned a couple things off of that. It's been a great experience.
Well, and even with the post about tonight's show, there were people commenting on that. Oh, I love these episodes, and this is going to be a great show tonight. These guys are awesome, and all. So a lot of good feedback, even from the promo for tonight's show.
We love it, and thank you, everybody. Thank you. We are just out there trying to have fun. We're trying to uncover history. That's a big thing about this team. We do our history. We think it's very important. We know that there's a lot of lost, forgotten, and even history that has been hidden. And so we want to be able to bring that out. So that means a lot to us. And yeah, I know everybody enjoys hearing from this team that people are liking it.
Yeah,
And I was
absolutely.
really encouraged when I was in South Carolina. I actually had people that walked up to me that I really respect in the metal detecting community, and they said, "Hey, good luck with your show. We really hope, we've seen an episode or two and just enjoyed what you guys are doing, and just all the best to you guys." And that was totally unsolicited. People came up to me and just, said, "Hey, we're wishing you guys do the best." So that was very encouraging for me when I was at the show this weekend.
Yeah, that's nice. That really is nice.
Yeah, it is. It means a lot when you get that good feedback like that.
And we went out on a limb. Me and Sean talked about this, doing something like this for years. And Sean, I want everybody to know, Sean, Todd, Chooch. You can kind of tell Chooch is a little more quieter, and I'll use that as an example. We've had a little more time in front of the camera than Chooch, so it's hard to get in front of the camera. It's hard to put yourself out there. Sean might do something thinking that is funny, but maybe he's holding back. Maybe he's a little bit fearful. Will the audience like this? So we really do put ourselves out there. You guys are able to see how we are. And I think in the long run, Sean, Todd, Mark, Chooch, all of us can sit back and at least say we gave it our all. We were ourselves, and we did the best we could.
Right.
Yep.
And
everybody wants to. Go ahead, Josh.
No, that's all right. Go ahead, Mark.
I was just going to say, the feedback that I got is everybody wants Todd to play more music on his harmonica.
I'm pretty sure nobody has ever said that. I use that to scare away scares.
Well, I, for one, Todd, am a fan. Like I said, I want to start booking you for events and gigs. I had no idea you were that talented, and you're actually, inspiring me to take up music too. So I think when I come out, I'm gonna grab a couple spoons and we can get this whole shindig going right.
There you go.
There you go.
Get Tim an accordion and we'll be set.
Oh wow, we can play our own band while we're out there. We're gonna have to leave Todd by himself more often. I can't even tell you how much I was cracking up when I brought those SD cards home and I was putting the files together, and all of a sudden I look over, I'm like, oh, there's quite a bit of these different frames of Todd. What was he doing when we left him alone? And I just kind of clicked on one after another, and I just started cracking up, and I made sure that those files went right to my daughter Jada, and I said, make sure these are in, because most people don't see Todd like this, and he did great.
And he's the only person I know that actually looks for cougars.
Wow.
I'm told I can't do that anymore. Betty won't let me do that.
I don't blame her.
Yeah. Now, Todd, just so you know, in the future, we were talking about mountain lions, okay?
Lions.
Big kitties. Yeah, not older women, okay?
I'm not worried about them. The women that scare me.
So the more you play that harmonica, Todd, the more you're going to have to beat them off with the stick. So you may have to slow your roll.
And I for one was thinking, I went back and watched that episode, Todd, the other day, and when I got to that part with you, I was thinking, you know what? That was actually really cool, because we were on the trail a lot. The rest of us in that group, we were on the trail. There was a lot of footage we just don't show because it's too hard for the cameraman to hike a couple miles in a deep canyon. But Todd, with you being more in that area and you were doing your own thing, as we were getting held on and rained on, we weren't able to get that because we're hiding from it. But you were over there showing that, and that really transferred really well. So we're going to have to keep you by yourself from now on, Todd.
it was tough sitting under cover there, being warm and dry. Yeah.
It's a rough life sometimes.
Yeah.
And with these different episodes, it sounds like, anyway, I've heard some rumor that there may be some expansion to the area and going out into other areas in the next season, possibly.
That is going to be the goal. It was. Sorry. Go ahead, Todd.
No. Oh, sorry, Sean. That was me. Oh, yeah. You go, Sean. You take it.
Yeah. So that was that's been our goal for a minute. It's called Treasures in America for a reason. It's not treasures in Utah or treasures in our backyard. For financial reasons, to try to, because most of us are located here in the same town, we're trying to keep to the Spanish history that's in this area. A lot of folks don't know that the Spanish Trail ran right through our backyard. They literally built the interstate on top of it. So there's a lot of rich history right here, and it's but we do want to venture over to Mark's neck of the woods, Florida, the East Coast. And I personally, my wife's family is from the South, and we went back to visit, and there's just so much history. It's so rich with the Spanish themselves. It's I want to say St. Augustine was probably my favorite place to visit. So there's just so much to uncover back there that we really are excited to make our way around and collaborate with more people.
Nice.
Yeah, and that was well said, Sean. I was just thinking, Mark's there in Florida, and my dad recently moved to South Carolina near the Charlotte area. And I was just thinking, wouldn't that be so cool if we can, and there's a lot. Like Sean and Todd, we're used to, the type of stories and lost history that we look for here in the West. But when you start looking in the East and all the different things that they have available there, it would be a lot of fun to go from, go see Mark and then do some traveling in that area. Maybe go hit a few different states.
Yeah, I want to say, what's the name of that castle in St. Augustine, Mark? That's got to be like the oldest, I want to say it was the oldest structure in the United States.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. Like they have it's one of the oldest cities, obviously, the oldest schoolhouse. And,
there's a fort right there that I can't remember the name for the life of me.
Yeah, well, it's the Spanish fort that they built there, San Marcos.
Yes. That one I was really impressed with that. But there's just there's so much rich history in the area. You've got continental history, you got revolutionary history, you've got Civil War history. It's just a rich hot plate for stories and things to discover, and there can't possibly be everything that's been unearthed and discovered back there. So we're really excited to make our way down that way. But there's for right now we've really enjoyed going after some of the stories and local legends here in our backyard. I actually, as we were researching for Travel Channel and digging into, so we did an episode with the Travel Channel where we went after Butch Cassidy and found one of his hideouts. And in researching this story, I actually found out that Butch stole one of my family's horses in Circleville, Utah. He made a habit of, he was a really, really talented horseman, and he learned early on, which horses were really good, which horses ran the fastest, and he developed a system of a relay system to where, once his horse was spent, he had another horse that was sitting there waiting for him. So the authorities could never catch up to him. So there was one day, my great whatever grandfather went out to his corral, and there was a horse that he didn't recognize, and a gold coin sitting on top of the fence post. So Butch had rolled through my family's farm, stolen one of their horses, dropped his horse off, and gave them a gold coin for compensation.
Wow.
That is a cool story, Sean. That
it is.
Really cool. And just by the way, so everybody who's listening or today or even in the future, on our website, we have that episode that we did with Chris Jericho going after Butch Cassidy's treasure. And we do talk a lot about what Sean just said with the horse relay and how Butch and the Wild Bunch was so successful with getting away from the townspeople or, the law that was chasing them. So, yeah.
Well, and here's the other thing too, Josh, about branching out is everything right now is in southern Utah, which is great. I mean, and a lot of people, because I travel so much, to the Midwest, to the Northeast, all around the South, hunting out in the West is completely different. And that's one of the reasons I like going out there is because, I'm here in the East. I'm used to what we do here, but going out, in the southern Utah is just completely different. And I just really enjoy that. So it's a different experience. But in that area, they've got a ton of history all over Utah, especially up in the Uinta Mountains in northern Utah. And then we can go down into Arizona. There's a lot of opportunity to explore in Arizona, New Mexico, some of those areas. But around the country, even in some of the discussions that I've had with people, basically what they've said to me is, Mark, when you get to the point of where you guys are going, outside of, the West, I've got a place for you here in, pick a state. And, there's a story here, and if you guys want to come and explore it, we'd love to have you be a part of it. So, and by the way, that actually happened this weekend when I was in South Carolina. Somebody invited us to something they're working on in North Carolina. So the opportunities are there, but they're also right there in Utah in just that general area out west.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of folks didn't realize that the Spanish went so far north. It's really interesting when you find these stories, you start unearthing this history. And I think somebody had touched on it earlier that some of this history is disappearing, whether or not the government is trying to keep people safe and keep people out of it. But the old topo maps, there's a lot of stuff that's disappearing from those maps, and the new maps just don't show what some of the old maps have. So it's it's a good time for sure to dig into it and go after some of those stories, because there's someone needs to tell them and someone needs to share it with everybody else, because it's starting to fade. A lot of the great old timers that inspired us and taught us and taught Tim, a lot of those guys aren't around. We're holding on to a couple of them, Mark and Todd. But
wow.
Yeah. So
wow.
we wanted to create a show that was not only entertaining, but we wanted it to feel real. We wanted it to feel authentic. And some of those old timers were real, old school, don't tell anybody, keep it close to the vest. But we found that there's strength in numbers, and so having opportunities to collaborate with some of these guys is really not only educational, but just an awesome experience in general.
Yeah, I have to agree. Mark, you brushed on something that I would call a treasure in itself. Can you imagine our team traveling in the future, collaborating, meeting new people, sharing knowledge and lost history, and then going out and trying to look for lost riches and stuff? I can't think of anything better than that. That just, to me, Us
That'd be great.
putting ourselves out there. Yeah, and we, just so everybody knows, we're kicking the tires on a lot of different ideas for the future. But one thing that everybody has mentioned and has had an interest in is going out and working with other people, the people who want to share things with us. And I think that's how the trade secrets, like Sean just gave away a trade secret right there. And it's a very simple one, the topo maps, the 7.5 minute topo maps. And we talk about this a little bit more as season 1 goes on. But if you want to find old ruins and you want to find mines marked on those topo maps, do not grab the new maps from 2000, let's say 2008, all the way to the current day. If you can find the older maps that were made in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Oh, absolutely. The older, the better.
What they're hiding on those maps. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Well, and Josh, you and I have talked about this before, about the loss of some of that knowledge. And you had Jim Ferriello on your show several times. And,
yeah.
He recently passed, and, and he's out in that area. And he's one of those guys that just had an enormous amount of information. And where all that ended up, I have no idea. But I just knew that he had a huge library of information and treasures and things like that. So, hopefully more of that gets passed on. But, I am concerned about the people that we lose and some of that information being lost forever. Some of that knowledge.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. I know my mentor, I would say probably the last 5 years before he passed away, Mark, that was actually something he brought up to me a lot. And I don't want to go too much into it, but he would name some names saying that those people would take on his research and stuff, but they just weren't interested. And the next one up in line was me. And so I was fortunate to do that. I was there with him for the last, 15 years or so. And getting that knowledge passed down from him has just opened up a lot of doors and a lot of possibilities. So that lost knowledge, the old treasure hunting techniques, the old trade secrets and all that kind of stuff, very important. And I think I can speak for most of the old timers that have been doing it for a long time. All that work at their last days, before they end up passing away. I have heard a lot of them mention during that time that they wish they had someone to pass that on because that was their life work. So,
right.
Just some things to think about. But yeah, that stuff is very important. And it's something that's disappearing. We show it on episode 3, how the rock structures are literally crumbling down that were built over 200 years ago. I have a feeling in another generation or two, those will be completely gone. There's a good chance no one will even know why they were there. There's always going to be people that take it on, but I just think it's important to tell those kind of stories.
Absolutely. Oh, Mark must have fell off. Maybe stopped for a nap.
Oh, I'm still here.
Nope, he's still there. You never know sometimes. And with all of these different episodes that have been done, any thought to maybe just throw in an extra one in there of just bits and pieces that have hit the cutting room floor or bloopers?
Yeah. In fact, I was just talking to Jada about that the other day. I have way more footage that we did not use than what we did use. And these terabyte external hard drives are stacking up. And when I go back to them, we didn't not use it because it wasn't great information or entertaining. It was just because we have to kind of pick and choose, how long they're going to be and what to show. So I was talking to her about that. We're kind of come up with a few ideas. YouTube is really good and it's very popular now these days to watch their short videos. So let's say maybe it's Sean, like Sean's really getting a big name for that adventurous guy that that goes in the mines where, you know, many people wouldn't see the depths of that mine if it wasn't for him and doing that. So during that time, he was actually in there for a lot longer than what it looks like on the episode. So let's say if we start putting up some short films, or maybe at the end of season 1, we'll just do several, you know, 10-minute videos, 20-minute videos. We're trying to figure out what's going to be best for people to see that stuff, because it definitely wasn't because it was useless footage. There's a lot of good stuff there.
Right, and sometimes it's a really tough call when you're having to pick and choose like that.
Yeah, yep, that's exactly right.
And Josh, you're not the first one to suggest that, to be honest. So that's something that we should definitely keep in mind as we're filming. You know, I think we've touched on it a couple of times of how entertaining and fun KG and Ringy were. So we definitely have to keep that in mind, so that way we can stack up that blooper reel.
Well, let's throw
right.
it out in the open right now. Let's have. I mean, we don't have to make a decision, but let me throw a couple ideas out, and even the audience can get back to us if they want to. You know, with platforms like TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, all these different things, we could throw a lot of short videos up. We can compile them up into a longer one. I mean, I'm basically talking to everybody, but my team right now in the way of like, let's start thinking about how we want to do that. What's the best way? Because I guarantee you, if I start throwing things up on TikTok and YouTube short videos, oh man, I could probably do it for months and every day, because there's that much footage. And I guarantee you, some of that footage, they'll go, oh my gosh, the other footage, they'll be cracking up and laughing. So there's a lot of stuff there.
Right. Well, and yeah, you would have basically an unlimited supply if you've got terabyte drives stacking up.
Oh yeah, we have 6 terabyte, 6 external, 3 terabyte each hard drives stacking up right now, and we're not done with season 1, so we got plenty of footage.
Yeah, I know how it goes. I mean, I've got them stacked up here, just archives of show data, which is really insane when you're talking MP3 format, but yet I'm having to stack terabyte drives.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot. Poor Chooch. Is he still with us?
Yeah.
Yep, he's still here.
I'm like, he's huge.
Look up,
you guys.
Look up.
I'm not busy today.
You know, I was just thinking, Chooch, all that hard work, and it's not just Chooch, everybody works hard, right? But all that hard work goes, our external hard drives where I save them, they're about the size of a man's wallet. And I look at these hard drives and I just think to myself, all that work, all this footage that we have, each episode and all their footage that we didn't use is just sitting in this wallet-sized hard drive. It doesn't seem right. It seems like it should be a warehouse of servers or something.
Well, that's the beauty of technology, though.
Yeah, true. Very true.
They're making digital storage much easier.
Yeah.
Hey,
Definitely.
Josh, did you have any? Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mark.
I was just going to ask Josh, did you have any questions that anybody put in the chat or anything that anybody wants to know about?
Honestly, I have not really been paying much attention to the chat. I've been engrossed in the chat that we've got here. I know I did see some comments like really enjoy the episodes. It's it's better to be yourselves in front of camera. People can sense fake. You guys do a great job, things like that. But I have not necessarily caught any questions out of the chat.
Okay. We've gotten some good feedback from the audience, which we're really grateful for. And that's all you can really do is just go out there, try to have fun, try to be authentic. Because we know it's our reputation out there. So, not only are we out to make discoveries and have our own, adventures, but we also want to go out and inspire other people to do the same. And so if there's any feedback from people, they will, sometimes you go out and you're not always going to find something, but you're gonna find, an adventure. You're gonna make memories. You're gonna build camaraderie with the team. There's other things that can be considered, a treasure in and of itself. So in some areas aren't legit. You're not going to find something every time you go out. So you have to try to keep that in mind, so that way you don't burn yourself out and keep going and keep continuing to, find those new discoveries. And sometimes we look at a situation or we look at a story and we're like, I don't know, the validity of this legend. So let's look into it and let's see if we can, prove or disprove it. So it's not always out to find the big cache or the big treasure. Sometimes it's hey, let's bust this myth and see if this thing is legit or if it's bogus.
Yeah.
Well, and that's one
a
of the
great point, Sean.
That's one of the reasons why Mark fits so well with it. He's kind of like your modern day paladin. Have adventure, will travel.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, we've been very fortunate to have the experience of Mark and Todd. Those guys are pretty invaluable when it comes to their experience.
Yeah, that's very true. We all, as a team, my wife kind of laughs at me because I like to use the words like, this is the elite team, this is the best team. And maybe it's a little bit biased, but I actually believe, Sean comes with tons of experience of building and construction. You'd be surprised how that how that experience goes along with kind of common sense. And I think you guys are all going to see that as our episodes keep coming out and we're progressing on to different stories, different sites, there are some times where, you're going to see us just go, hey, this isn't working. This isn't right. I don't know if this legend is true or not. And we're just going to tell people the way it is in that way. And same with like Todd, he comes with a lot of experience. Everybody here, I believe, myself, and maybe they've hoodwinked me, maybe my team has made me feel like that we're the best, but I just feel like all of us put together with all this different knowledge and life experiences, we make a great team.
Right. Everybody brings something to the table.
Yep.
Right.
Definitely awesome. So when can people expect to, when will the next season start appearing?
Well, we are still on, we're still finishing up season 1. So on YouTube, on Treasures of America's YouTube channel, where you'll find Uncharted Expedition, we have more episodes coming out. And you will see the next episode show up at the end of this month. We needed to take kind of like a mid-season break. So the editor and, we haven't told the whole story, but like what Chooch mentioned earlier, we got a couple cameras that stopped working on us. We actually worked them until they died. And so we just need this little pause to catch up with everything. And then we're going to keep producing a few more. Season 2 is going to be just around the corner. So what we liked about not only having this mid-season break to kind of catch up, but I think the audience might appreciate it a little bit more down the road because we're taking this little break. More episodes are coming out this month or at the end of this month. And then before you know it, even though that episode or season 1 is over, we're going to be out in the hills already filming for season 2. And so, it's going to be a little bit different than the traditional major networks where, let's say one of these popular shows come on, you get to watch them every Friday, every Saturday for 2.5 months, and then they disappear for a whole year. I'm trying to figure out a way how we can start bringing out episodes throughout the year. Do like a little dump, like here's 3 or 4, and then there's a little break, and there's 3 or 4 again, so we can just keep going.
Nice. You just got to watch Mark handling them cameras. Apparently, he breaks stuff.
That's funny.
I didn't break any cameras. Did I? Did I break a camera?
No, you didn't break them. And we didn't break, I was thinking, Mark, with you breaking the metal detectors that you were talking about, we were throwing those Garrett A.T. Maxes around during episode 2 and 3, and we didn't break. In fact, Chief even pointed out on the camera, it's on the episode. Wow, that didn't even break, type comment, because. And here you are breaking Garrett's new metal detectors out in Alaska.
Well, we were actually doing a test of those, and but I will tell you the Garrett AT Pro, the AT Max, those are two of the most rugged detectors you can have.
Right, tried and true.
You can take. They are tried and true, and they are rugged. The way they're built, you can take them anywhere. You can throw them in the back of a truck or whatever. So. You can break anything if you try hard enough. But
apparently,
the AT series is just incredibly rugged, and I kind of joked about that with the Axiom, but I tell you, it really is helpful for them to understand where the weak points are, so that when it's a final product, it's fully tested and they know how to fix the weak points before they're released. And I think that's one of the things we brought to the table when we tested them. They saw some areas that need be some improvement, and it actually delayed the shipment of them after that, and they made some engineering improvements after that. But that's all part of the purpose of the testing. But they do make rugged machines. Let me just say, they are very rugged.
Right. Just all of them may not necessarily be mark-proof.
I'm never going to hear the end of it.
They're good machines. I remember when I started, my first metal detector I bought in 1997. It was a Garrett. And it was I think at the time I spent, let's say like $250 on it. I had that sucker in the garage until like 5 years ago. And it still worked, and it still did a good job. Garrett makes good detectors. So yeah, Mark, be a little. No, but you know what, Mark? I wanted to point out that's really cool. I think that you were involved with helping them out with testing them. Where the weak points are. What's the strong suit on those machines and stuff. That is really cool.
Yeah, exactly. Good job busting stuff up so we get a better product.
Yeah. Let you know
that. Exactly. Yep. And there's one thing, Josh, I just wanted to bring up real quick, putting Sean back on the spotlight. If you guys haven't seen the show and you really want to see, someone doing some crazy, gnarly, hanging on the edge of the ledge and going down in mine shafts and stuff like that, Sean does a really good job of, exploring these mines and stuff like that. I've heard a lot of the feedback lately has been authentic, real. We enjoy it. Todd being funny, the harmonica, and then you also got Sean, being the adventurous, dangerous guy going in those holes and stuff like that. If you guys haven't seen it, you got to go watch that because that's some good footage.
Nice. Yeah, I'm sure that there's plenty for people to check out, and tonight has even sparked their curiosity even more, I'm sure. And, well, good grief. I just realized, here I was telling you guys we'd run for an hour and 15, something like that, and we've been on almost an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh.
Time flies.
Yeah.
Wow.
It really does.
We're going to have to get you guys back again to discuss some more of these episodes at another point.
Well, we're glad to be
really,
on. And,
yeah, we really appreciate you having us.
Well,
yeah,
and I'm
we
sure
really do.
I'm sure the listeners have enjoyed it. And like I said, I've just had a blast just enjoying all the conversation. I haven't even really been following the chat of the show or anything. I've just been engrossed in what's going on this side of things.
We'll take that as we're doing a good job then in that case.
Right, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's people in the chat saying, hey, good show, great show, and nice to.
And Josh, kudos to you. You do a great job on the show. You're consistent. I mean, you always have great guests, and I mean, I've been following you for a while, and you just do a great job. So thank you for having us on, and it's a pleasure to be a part of it.
Yeah, I've been around a minute myself.
You have a really good radio voice, Josh. I'm sure people tell you that, but I like the way that you do it. It sounds like a podcast that I would like to listen to when, I'm traveling on the road or maybe at work with the headphones on or whatever. But yeah, Mark's right. You do a good job. And we do very much appreciate you having us on your show and the listeners listening in.
I try to do what I can. A few weeks back, I was actually on Detect America, and that was a little strange. Normally, I'm not in front of the camera. I'm behind the mic. Me and my vividly purple hair. But that's the way it goes. But yeah, a lot of good feedback in the chat. Everybody thoroughly enjoyed the show tonight, and it worked out quite well. We will definitely have to have you guys back again in the future, and hopefully not make it so far in between. I mean, this is about 4 years, I think, since you guys have been on the show.
Yeah. I was surprised when we found out that it's been that long since we've been on here. I guess we've been busy, guys, because I think pretty much the same guys other than Chooch was on your podcast at the same time last time, and we've just been hitting the road and doing what you
do. Right? Yeah. Time just kind of gets away from you. I mean, over here, just on Spreaker, we've got over 1,000 hours of archived shows.
Wow.
So that's
a lot.
There's plenty of episodes to listen to when Todd's out tracking cougars and playing harmonica.
There you go. Hey, we might have to do that, guys, while we're out traveling, or when we do have. I would say probably traveling is when we have more downtime, but start listening to the other podcasts. That's a good idea.
Yeah, you never know. Could give you some ideas.
Yep, that's true. That's very true.
You just never know what's going to come up next. Although for the listeners, I can tell them that this Wednesday, the silver pull tab hat pin is back with the Trivia Hot Seat. So let us know what sort of topics you're looking for. There'll be a few more potentially lucky people may get a shot at the silver pull tab. And we'll see how that goes. That's a nice chunk of silver, too. But that's for Wednesday. Until then, anything else you guys would like to add?
We just wanted to say thank you for the support and the positive feedback. You can find us on any social media platform. Check it out, and we appreciate all the comments. And you can. I think there's actually a funny video on our YouTube page where Tim, or not Tim, it was one of my guys, got to act a little revenge on my shenanigans, and he zapped me with a taser. So that was that was an electrifying experience.
There's a lot. There's not just our episodes on Treasure America's YouTube channel. There actually is a little bit of there's actually quite a bit of behind the scene footage of just things that we've been doing, and it kind of leads up to where we are now. So I encourage that too. Go back to our YouTube and look at the mine story that Sean was talking about, where I found the mountain lion at the entrance. There's a video on that. There's even a video of me and Sean blowing up a toilet with a homemade bomb. There's a lot of stuff on there, so a lot of good stuff to go see.
I can neither confirm nor deny what Tim just alluded to. Those were allegations at best.
At least it wasn't. At least it wasn't in someone's garage. Hopefully. Hearsay. It's all hearsay.
Yeah, it's all hearsay because we actually did that too.
That's why I'm like, he just mentioned explosions in garages, Sean. Yeah, no, never happened.
Yep, I know nothing. Mark's going, yep, like I said, whatever they say, don't believe it.
That's what I said.
Oh,
Yep.
it has though. It has been an absolutely wonderful time. It's great to have you guys back again, and looking forward to doing it again sometime in the future.
Thanks, Josh.
So
We appreciate it.
I guess if that's everything you guys had to add, hang in there with me for a minute, and we'll get out of here. So for everyone else, obviously, it's Tim and Todd and Sean and Hooch and Mark, the breaker of things. Been a great time. Uncharted Expedition. Check out the episodes over on the Treasures in America YouTube channel. And we will see everyone Wednesday with the Silver Pull Tab once again. We're out of here, folks. Have a wonderful evening.